Let's bring in an expert on this story. Jay Clayton, he's a former SEC chairman and a CNBC contributor. Jay, I wanted to talk to you about this tonight because there's just so much money riding on this decision today. You heard Kate talking about it. Bitcoin prices have run up in anticipation of a decision from the SEC. What I want to know from you is, do regulators feel that kind of massive market pressure in the final days of making a call like this?
Well, Ivan, thanks for having me on. Look, I want to take my hat off to Kate. She summarized where we stand in incredibly well. So, well done. And to your question, do you think about things like an introduction of a new product, or in this case, perhaps as many as 13 new products, and what that will do to trading? Well, of course you do. And I think that we're looking at a possible approval here. I think next week, makes a lot of sense from a market dynamics point of view because people are back and more people are back working. And if you're introducing a new product where there's going to be cross currents, and Kate outlined some of the cross currents, it's good to have everybody back in their seats.
So it seems like there's kind of short-term pressure on the SEC in terms of the huge run-up in Bitcoin and the idea that if they don't approve this now, after all this expectation, a lot of people are going to lose their shirts in the Bitcoin markets. But there's also this sort of long-term concern about investor protection, right? Because if you talk about people investing their retirement funds now in a Bitcoin ETF, and Bitcoin has been such a wildly volatile item out there, these huge epic swings that you don't see in other asset classes, you talk about people maybe losing their retirement funds in the long run. So how do you balance those two things as the SEC looking at this, on a Friday night in early January?
Well, Layman, let me talk about the SEC's role here. And what I would say is the three things the SEC felt that they had to get right before they approve it. And, approval is not certain, but I've said that approval this week is not certain, but I believe approval eventually is inevitable.
It feels like
what do
it's
they have to get right? It's coming.
Yeah.
What do they have to get right? The disclosure has to be right, okay, so that people understand what they're buying. The second thing is the underlying trading market has to be efficacious. It has to be of a quality that manipulation, the type of just bad behavior that you don't want to see in an underlying trading market is eliminated or at an acceptable minimum. And then lastly, and this is very important here with a digital asset, the pipes have to work. The product itself, the custody, the create, the redemption. Kate talked about authorized participants and the arbitrage and how this product actually functions. That has to work. So the SEC has to have gotten comfortable that all those things are going to function as they should. I've said many times when I was chair of the SEC, I was concerned about that underlying Bitcoin trading market. So, I think we've gotten past that. On your question about investors, I rarely give investment advice. I don't know whether Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot or a little. I will say this. This is a speculative, volatile asset. No good investment advisor or broker-dealer would tell you to put a substantial portion of your investment assets into a single volatile or speculative asset.
You say that, Jay, I'm sorry to interrupt. You say that, but somebody will, right? I mean, somebody out there in the financial advisor world will say, you know what? You want to make some money in your retirement funds? Get into this. It's going to expand, and somebody's going to lose their shirt, right? I mean, that's just the nature of markets.
Let me just say this. I would hope that no broker-dealer or investment advisor registered with the SEC would tell somebody to put all their chips in the Bitcoin basket.